Hello, welcome to Brewing with Camille. Hello, my name is Camille. I'm gonna brew a beer from the 1400s. That was one of the first real Dutch style beers. It's produced in mostly Leiden, Haarlem and Gouda. And today we're gonna use the malt profile from Haarlem. And first we're gonna start with filling the kettle with water. And we have to heat it up to about 52 degrees Celsius. After we melt the grains, it's a mixture of oats, wheat and Pilsner malt. We're gonna mice in at a temperature of 54 degrees Celsius. It has to be mixed in very well so that there are no dough balls in there or other forms of lumps. And then we have to see what is the temperature. We have to be on the 52 degrees Celsius for about 10 minutes. I think this is the protein stop. We reached the temperature of 52 degrees Celsius and now we have to keep it warm for 10 minutes, and I just use a jacket because I don't have a blanket. And now we wait.
Time for the next step.
The 10 minutes on 52 degrees Celsius is done, and now we have to bring up the temperature to 62 degrees Celsius. It's always important to keep your grains moving when you're heating up from one temperature to the other, so it won't burn on the bottom of your pan. Now that we're waiting to get to the next temperature, one important thing by milling for this brew is that you use the English oats with the husks still on it, and mill it twice because it's you have to have the smallest setting on your mill. But it's quite difficult to mill oats, so this is probably something to remember when you're making this style beer. So we now reach the temperature of 62 degrees Celsius. In approximately 15 minutes we can go to the next temperature. After 15 minutes on 62 degrees Celsius, we're gonna warm up to 73 degrees Celsius for around 45 minutes. Every step that you go up, you feel that stirring the grains are getting easier and easier because of the enzymes that are eating up the proteins to make them into fermentable sugars. About the beer type that we're brewing today, it's called Kuyt. It's been around the 1400s that this type of beer came into existence, maybe a little bit before that, but it was the first time it was mentioned in documents. We had a small period in the Netherlands that the organization for historic beers tried to revive this type of beer. So you can find a couple of Kuyt beers in the Netherlands, but it's not that many anymore. I know of one type of Kuyt that is still in existence. I saw somewhere in Belgium, I think near Brabant or Limburg. It's also good to sometimes check if the temperature is still at the degrees that you want. So every now and then you have to just check temperature and stir. Also for the enzymes it's better than when they been moved, because if the starch comes out of reach then they can't eat it. So it's always good to stir your brew from time to time. Most of the time I will take about every 15 minutes or like something like that. In the early 2000s, the Association for Historical Beers from the Netherlands tried to revive this type of beer. They had some successes. They even came into the American Association of Beer Styles. Yeah, now you have a couple of brewing companies that still make Kuyt. And I know of one older one from Belgium in the area of Nheat that still produces a Kuyt. It's one of the few real old school type of Kuyt beers. And now we cover it again and wait another 30 minutes. Beep beep. I've been watched. I'm not getting paranoid. Now it's time for the ionized test. After 45 minutes on 73 degrees Celsius to see if everything is converted. Now we have to see if it stays brown or does it turn to purple. If it turns to purple, it's not done, but I think it's done. Yeah, after the test warning, don't throw the test back into the wort, but you have to throw it into the sink because of the ionite what's in the test, so don't do that. Now we have to bring up the temperature to 78 degrees Celsius for 5 minutes to kill off all the enzymes, and yeah, then the beer is done for the transformation, and then we're gonna filter. It's important to keep on stirring so it won't burn on the bottom of the pan. For the next step, we're gonna remove the jacket. We're gonna stir it, put in my homemade filtering system, and then we're gonna filter. We also need to warm up the sparge water so we can sparge. This is about 9 liters, this is about 8 liters, and we need to end up with roughly 13 liters before boiling. For the next step, I put in the filter system. I connected the tube to the filter system with a tie wrap, so it's more secure, better safe than sorry. On the bottom I put, I don't know the English word, one of these, with also a soup spoon, so I can lift the the hose from one of these to the other without spilling on the ground. This is the sparge water that we need to raise the temperature till 80 degrees Celsius. Collected the first wort, around 3 liters, and now I'm putting it back into the kettle to get this clearer and to keep the bed wet, the grain bed, so that the filtering will go continuously and won't stop. And the sparging water then I'm gonna put in spoon by spoon so that the grain bed stays moist and acts like a filter bed. And after when the wort is more clear, then I will stop putting it back and only water, mixing water in to get the clear wort and to get it ready for the boiling procedure.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
We have the 3 stages of the hop. When it's gonna boil for 60 minutes. When the wort is gonna boil, we're gonna put in the bitter hop first, and that's gonna be in there for 60 minutes. It's also the boiling time that we're gonna do. It's gonna be 60 minutes, so around 3 liters of moisture is gonna be evaporated. The wort is almost to the boil. One thing I use is this hop spindle, I think it's called. We can use this. We use this one to put into hops so it won't go in the whole boil, so you don't have problems filtering when you put it into the fermenting vessel. We're now getting to the point that it's gonna boil. A couple of things that's important is when it's gonna boil, you put in your first bitter hop, it's gonna boil over. So what I normally do is I turn down the heat or put it out totally, wait for it to calm down a bit, throw in the hops, and then slowly beginning to warm up the wort again, because otherwise it's gonna be all over the place. We just put in the bitter hops. After 45 minutes we're gonna put in the aroma hops for 15 minutes till the end, and then we put in the flame off hops. It's also important that you have a rolling boil for the amount of evaporation of the wort, so that you can reach your SG in the beginning of the fermentation. Next up, the aroma hop. We're almost at the end of the boiling time. Now we have to put in the cooling coil and to disinfect it. Last 5 minutes.
Yeah,
And in 5 minutes the last hop will go in. And through one end I'm gonna put cold water, the other end gonna be a drainage to the outside of our hop. Now we're gonna turn on the cold water. Goes from the outside, and the warm water comes out the other side. This is the last step. Now we're gonna put in the last hops from flame off. And now we have to cool it down till room temperature. Now we reach the temperature that it's cool enough for the yeast. So I'm gonna remove the spindle from the hop. Okay. And I have to go outside and turn off the tap. We'll now remove the cooling coil. From this moment on, everything has to be as clean as possible. I use alcohol to disinfect materials, and I have disinfection in all the materials that's going to be in touch with the wort. I'm going to use an autosiphon to get the liquid from here into here. We're almost finished. I put all the liquid that was in the kettle into the fermenter. Now I have to close it off with a airlock and a stopper, and the yeast needs to get in, and then we can officially call it beer. The beer looks very cloudy, but that's because of the amount of oats and wheat malted that's been used, because that's more than half of the grain bill, so that's why it's so cloudy. And probably I'm gonna get it from one fermenter to the other after a day or two, so that everything is settled and I have the least amount of stuff on the bottom going to the other vessel. The yeast that we're gonna use is the Munich Classic. It's a German yeast for wheat beers, so yeah, the amount of wheat that's in it and the amount of oats that's in there, I think this is the best. Before we pitch the yeast, we need to clean the scissors and the package, and then we can drop it into the wort. Now we're gonna pitch the yeast. Now the stop is going on, and I'm gonna shake it a lot to get as much air in it as possible, because before fermentation the yeast needs a lot of air and a lot of oxygen. After fermentation, it's best not to bring any oxygen back into the brew, because yeah, then you get problems with the taste. After shaking the living daylight out of it, we're gonna put in the airlock. And we have to fill up the airlock so that no bugs can come in, and CO2 that the yeast is gonna produce comes out. The last step that we have to take is to measure the specific gravity of the brew to see how much alcohol is going to be on the end of the fermentation. Specific gravity of this brew is 1040. After fermentation, I bottled the beers on bottles, of course. It's been in the bottle for about 5 weeks now. The final gravity was 10,026. So this beer is about 4.9% alcohol. I measured it with a refractor meter, so that's why the number is a little bit high, but with calculations and all, then you come out at around 4.9% alcohol. Let's open it. Looks nice and clear. Smells good. Bit herbal kind of smell. A little bit the malt. You can also smell the malt character. It's a strange character because of the grains that we used. So that's a little bit different than normal, like a pils. The head disappears very quickly. So yeah, let's try it. Very fresh, little bit flowery, so a little bit of the hop flower taste. You taste the malt. Carbonation is there. Yeah, it's good. It's a very good summer beer. Nice and yeah, fresh taste. You also have the herbal notes of the rye malt and also of the hop characters in there. So yeah, all in all, great success. Prost! Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and leave a like if you like this video, and see you next time.